here today with Steve at BD Riley's, our pub in the Mueller neighborhood, and we're going to talk a little bit about it.
Great.
Hey, Steve.
How you doing, Kathy?
I'm well. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for. Can't be at a pub without libations.
Something to drink.
So what's your title here?
I'm one of the owners. I'm the managing director. I'm the marketing guy, and I've been a drinker at our pubs for 18 years and a partner for 16. So I've moved over to this side of the bar and spent a little time in the back of the house.
Mm-hmm. Nice. That's a long time. So, so this pub's only been open how long here at Mueller?
Year and 5 months.
Okay.
So we opened April 7th, National Beer Day, last year. We tried for Patio's Day, didn't quite make it, and I'm kind of glad because, boy, that first month was amazing. Challenging.
We were so ready.
Yes.
Yeah.
The neighborhood was ready for a pub.
Mm-hmm.
It was like being fired out of a rocket.
So 16 years ago, why did you decide to jump in at BD Riley's?
I have about a 25-year career in software and technology. I sold computers and phones for AT&T all around New England, did advanced workstations for Wall Street and trading floors in the financial district in New York. And I'd never lived south of Manhattan until I took a flyer on a company called Tivoli, who was based here, started in '89, and I joined them in '93, and I was about the 50th employee.
Wow.
And they too were a rocket ship. They went public, they got acquired, they grew. I stayed there for 9 years and left 5,000 employees and almost $2 billion in revenue.
Wow.
I did one more startup after that, and I worked with a woman whose ex-husband started the pub downtown, and she told me about John is building a pub in Ireland, shipping it over here, and installing it on 6th Street. And I thought, what a fantastic way to lose a ton of money fast. I have to go and see it. And I saw it, and it was beautiful and empty. It hadn't found its market yet. And when I left software completely, 2001, I started spending time with John at the bar and helping him out with marketing. And he's a beer man for 40 years, and I've been a marketing guy for a long time, and I thought we can go together.
Yeah.
And little by little, downtown gained traction, and it has grown every year. We've had one down year in '09 when the economy stumbled a bit.
Yeah.
But we had been looking for another location for quite a while, and we just never found the right spot exactly. And at one point, we found a drawing of Aldrich Street in Mueller and said, hey, this could be good. Mm-hmm. So we picked this spot about 4 years ago with a letter of intent. And this was just sketches on paper. But we saw the vision of what would become this kind of commercial hub in the center of this wonderful residential neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And we ended up at the corner at literally the point of Aldrich Street. And as you'll see from the outside of the pub, our patio comes to a big point, the roof comes to a big point at the giant water tank that's painted like a pint. And now we couldn't possibly be happier to be in this spot, in this neighborhood, and the neighborhood has embraced us in a big way.
Absolutely. So tell me about the building.
Well, the building was originally planned to be a one-story building with just food and beverage, and then the retail strip moving down Aldrich Street toward 51st.
Yeah.
This building was re-engineered to be a 3-story building, so there are 2 floors of offices above us. That had some great pluses and a couple of minuses. The minuses are we have columns, which we would not have had in a 1-story building. But we have a uniquely shaped triangular patio with a long strip that runs down Aldrich Street. And as we looked at the drawings, we kept seeing this circle at the tip of the patio, and we didn't know what that was. It wasn't on the old drawings. When they finally showed us elevations, the circle is a 17-foot tall, 6,700-gallon rainwater collection tank, because the building has this big pointed roof that comes right down into a rainwater collection tank that very greenly collects all the rainwater and feeds all of our landscaping beds and the trees all around us. So it's a very cool feature, but it was ugly. It looked like a barn tank. It was just corrugated galvanized steel and Corgal, as they call it. And the first thing John and I said was, can we paint it? And the developer and the landlord said, well, technically it's not yours, it's part of the building. It's like, yeah, but it's on our patio. And we have this beautiful patio built in Ireland, this gorgeous red teak facade with a tank in front of it.
Beautiful, yeah.
So after some back and forth and talking with the sign department of the City of Albany and the developers and the Architects Review Board, we showed them some drawings.
City of Albany?
I said Albany, City of Austin, that's my hometown. The City of Austin sign department. There is an Albany connection though. The developers loved it, the architects loved it, and it's become kind of an iconic selfie spot. But in addition to being painted to look like a pint of Guinness, there's a big tap handle on it. Mm-hmm. And I got that idea in Albany, actually Troy, the town next door to my hometown, where friends own a pub called The Ruck. And The Ruck is a rugby bar that has gradually morphed into a craft beer bar. And when they redid their facade, they put a giant tap handle on it. And I said, I may borrow that idea. So it turned out well. We are very happy that there's not a shiny silver tank glaring light into the patio.
Yeah.
And the giant pint of Guinness, or the big pint as we call it, has become kind of a landmark. And people say, meet me at the pint, or turn left at the pint, or the theater is right across from the pint. There's only one of them in the neighborhood, so you're not going to get confused.
So far.
Yeah.
The construction.
Yeah, so you asked about what's unique about the pub. On February 4th of last year, this was an empty white space with plain, undecorated drywall. And on February 5th in the morning, 4th in the morning, 2 container ships arrived from the Houston port, and with them came 8 Irish carpenters. And
were they in the
they
cargo?
weren't. They did not travel in the container ship.
Okay.
They did fly coach though, which is almost as bad. And these 8 guys were like a carpentry SEAL team. 14 days later, they left, and what you see here was virtually in place. We had to hang some pictures and spread some bric-a-brac. But everything in the bar, the cabinetry, the woodwork, the flooring, the tiles, the carpeting, the antique pictures and posters came over from Ireland. I tell people all the time, everything that's beautiful in the pub except me came from Ireland. And these guys did such a fantastic job. The transformation was amazing. February was cold.
Yeah.
They brought the whole pub inside, put it inside the walls, and put plywood up. And then they built the inside. Once they placed the facade, which was their first incentive, the walls are all teak, finished dark teak on the inside, bright red on the outside, patterned after a bar in Dublin called the Temple Bar. And they were just amazing to watch work. We had such fun with them. They were hard workers. They worked 8 or 10 or 12 hours a day. They didn't stop to drink until the very last night in town when they came downtown to celebrate, and I will say they made up for it in one night.
I love it.
We couldn't be happier with the appearance. It's amazingly detailed cabinetry and woodwork, and the finish on the materials are amazing.
Beautiful.
They were such craftsmen, and in and out in 2 weeks and off.
I can't believe
so
that.
They also became our first pub story. So when they left, everything was painted and in place, except we hadn't hung the pictures on the walls. And so we came into a beautiful painted pub and empty shelves, and just above the kitchen, in a kitchen doorway, there was a shelf with a pair of boots on it, muddy construction boots. And John and I popped in and said, "What's with the boots?" And the general contractor was here, and he said, "Oh, those are Barry's boots." Barry said he was going to leave them, so he always had a reason to come back. Barry was the tile man, and he did all of the tile work, and also was the designer for a lot of the bric-a-brac and wall materials, and the class clown of the bunch. And I looked at John, and he looked at me. Here we have this $1 million pub that's totally pristine, and there's a pair of boots on the shelf, and he said, "Glue them." And the contractor said, "What?" He goes, "Glue them in place." And they're there today. And we named a cocktail after him called Barry's Boots. It was one of our winter cocktails. We sent him a photo. He's right below a picture of Bessie D. Riley, who is John's grandmother and after whom the pub is named. And we said, "Barry, you've always got a reason to come back, but you're not taking your boots when you leave because they're attached to the shelf." So I'll show you later.
Okay.
Bessie's picture and Barry's boots. Here's to Barry. He was a funny guy. Oh, look, is that another whiskey?
Wow.
They're good.
Some good service here at BD Riley's.
I don't think it's because you're sitting next to the owner at all. I think that's our standard.
I don't think so at all. It's fantastic service.
Business there. Here, the outreach is very different. It's more or less, we're a pub, and they come. Because this neighborhood was so ready. So it's nice
we were
not
so
to have
vacant. We had nothing.
We didn't have to
nothing.
Well,
we had to walk to Contigo.
I tell people that Witchcraft, the bottle shop around the corner, was my salvation and John's during construction, because we'd spend a long day here wrestling with contractors, just getting the outside built before the Irish guys got here.
Yep.
And then, like,
the Irish guys weren't the problem.
No, definitely not. Permits, inspections, delays. So we go over to Witchcraft and get a growler. We started going over and having a couple of beers there, and then we get a growler and then come back. And then we'd sit here in the dark bemoaning the setbacks of the day, and the real question was, who's going to refill the growler? And after a couple trips just around the corner to our salvation at Witchcraft, I said, can I buy another growler? Because if we bring two, I'll make fewer trips. So we still have a Witchcraft growler in the office.
Jody's awesome.
And they are wonderful. So we spent some time there, and Paco's Tacos on the other side of 51st, another great little family spot.
I love them so much.
Wonderful tacos and a nice little patio. And now the neighborhood has fleshed out. We have fine dining at Loca di Oro, and chicken and wood-fired pizza and sandwiches and bao. And I got a shout out to Gino's Vino Osteria at 51st and Lancaster. That is, I'm half Italian and my dad was a chef.
Yeah?
And Gino's is a fine restaurant.
Really?
It's actually in the court.
I've never been there.
It's in the Residence Inn.
Yeah.
And it's not you can't enter from the Residence Inn. It's on the corner. But very small, family-run place. Gino and his wife, probably about 10 four tops, and great Italian food. So we have a great cluster of food choices in this neighborhood.
We do.
And we're just one of them. I'm very proud of our food. But, you can't eat here every night. So it's really nice to see the choices starting to proliferate in the neighborhood.
I agree. So you guys serve all sorts of pub food here too.
We do, and I see you've got some chicken tenders and gravy here. We're very proud of our chicken tenders. They are the antithesis of nuggets.
Yes.
Real strips of breast chicken, batter dipped and fried, and there's a lot of them. They're kind of moist and tender. I like what we do with fried foods. Our fish and chips is, of course, our best seller, but our mushrooms are fresh, batter dipped and fried up to order. We use soy oil that has no trans fats. The oil is changed and filtered daily, so you get a nice light crispy coating that isn't greasy. The fish and chips is cold water cod in a beer batter using Lone Star, because here we are in Texas.
Heck yeah.
And besides, we have some great salads and sandwiches as well. Good pub food like fish and chips, shepherd's pie, Irish stew are the traditional Irish stalwarts, along with our corned beef that's house cured.
It's really good, your corned beef.
We do corned beef sandwiches, we do corned beef and cabbage, and we do our take on a Reuben, which is, instead of sauerkraut, has our homemade coleslaw on it. So, but we've, downtown pub was about 80-20 liquor to food, and now it's about 65-35. So the food business has grown tremendously. This pub does much more food. It's more than 50% food. So the neighborhood has really embraced our pub menu.
We're hungry here. We like to eat.
Yeah. On Patty's Day, this pub sold twice as much food, almost 3 times as much food as downtown.
Wow.
Now the capacity is larger, but still, the numbers were dramatically skewed. They did their fair share of Guinness. On St. Patrick's Day, just to give you a hint, we did 16,000 pints of Guinness last year downtown. We did 1,200 of them on St. Patrick's Day.
Wow.
So 12 barrels of Guinness, and this pub did 11.
Wow.
So that's 1,100 pints, 20-ounce pints of Guinness.
We're giving you a run.
Yeah, we never run out of Guinness. We never run out of fish and chips.
Nice.
That's a rule. So you asked about BD and BD Riley's. There really is a person, Bessie D. Riley, D-E-E. And Bessie was born in Hempstead, Texas, to Irish immigrants in 1836, if I remember. Bessie D. Riley is John's grandmother. John grew up in East Texas near Gladewater. And Bessie was an interesting person. So up above the kitchen is B.D. Riley, facing away from the bar, since she wasn't a drinker. She also was one of 3 sets of twins in a family of 10 kids.
What?
10 kids, 3 pairs. That was a very fertile family. Because this was long before the days of fertility drugs or anything. This was just Irish fertility. My mom and dad, Irish and Italian, came down to visit, and John told them that story, and my dad said, if I roll the dice twice and it comes up twins, I'm putting the dice away. I'm going to learn a new game. And my mom said,
I'm not gonna play anymore.
We had kids till we got a TV in the bedroom. So Bessie is our namesake, and people always ask, is there really a Riley? And there is. And John wanted to keep the family in the name. So when we opened, we looked at opening a second one. We almost named it something slightly different. We were considering Riley's Public House to kind of be an extension of the brand.
Yeah.
But when we finally got to this location, we knew it was going to be a pub. And we knew that with the goodwill we've generated with the B.D. Riley's name downtown for 18 years was worth trading on. So we're glad that this is B.D. Riley's at Aldrich, and downtown is B.D. Riley's downtown.
Cheers to
Here's to Fertile Irishman.
Fertile Irish.
The guy with the check shirt,
Yeah.
David McElgan. These walls and ceiling were completely white,
Yeah.
and he did a rag rub brush finish in orange on the walls. Did all of these stencils to stress the ceiling to look like antique copper, and he also painted the murals outside the pub.
Really?
And the murals in the Writers' Lounge where we were sitting before, which is six of Ireland's most famous writers.
Huh. Very cool.
You couldn't hang or mount anything until the certificate of occupancy was granted.
What?
So what they did, see the pencil drawing on the wall there over the top of that frame?
I do.
They marked in pencil places where things were going to go. And we had a crate the size of a Raiders of the Lost Ark crate.
Yeah.
2 of them filled with 480 pieces to go on the walls, and they were numbered by shape. So we had a team of people putting like number 47 round, number 15 rectangular, Powers mirror. So the intent is it looks haphazard, but kind of intentionally so.
Yeah.
And the material was all authentic, so we wanted to do it justice.
So what kind of activities do you have in the pub? Because it seems like it's always happened.
We try and have a little something for everybody. It's we call it a little Irish oasis. There's the Thinkery Children's Museum is next door, and like a lot of traditional Irish pubs, particularly in the afternoons, moms and dads and kids come over. And one of the things I didn't expect was to be going through 400 kids menus a month, coloring pages and crayons. I buy boxes of crayons, and my last delivery of crayons was 2,160 crayons in 3-packs. And we found a place to recycle them too, so we're very happy.
Nice.
Because we end up with a lot of broken crayons that you don't want to give your kids broken crayons. But there's a company in California that will take all the crayons, sort them, melt them, and make big fat crayons for special needs kids. So I feel wonderful that we're not just trashing all those crayons. So that's our afternoon crowd. Around 4:30, 5 o'clock, we kind of morph into a more traditional happy hour. A lot of times on the patio, even when it's warm, we do have a big-ass fan out there. That moves a lot of air. Every Thursday night, we have an Irish tune session with traditional Irish musicians that come and fill our stage and sometimes spill out onto the patio. That's something also that every Irish pub should really have. We do that downtown on Sunday nights, and we do trivia every Tuesday night here. In fact, tonight being a Tuesday, trivia, TC's Trivia on Tuesday. Tommy Corbett is our trivia host. He lives right here in Mueller in the Wildflower Building, and he's run trivia all over town. and we're delighted that he decided to host it here. And our trivia, just like downtown, is 7:30 to 9:30, and $170 in prizes every night. And it draws a great crowd. And many of the people who play here come downtown and play the next night. Different set of questions, of course, but same format.
Can't
so,
cheat.
At least as of earlier today, things have changed. Things are not looking good for Mr. Trump right now.
And then on the sporting side, like any modern pub, we've got to have TVs. And we're home of the New England Patriots fan club, as the downtown pub is also. This pub is the official home of the Austin Liverpool Supporters Club. And Liverpool had a fantastic season last year, going all the way to the final. And in addition to showing the Longhorns, which of course we show because we are here in Austin, we'll also be the home of Texas Tech Red Raiders. So sports on college on Saturday, pros on Sunday and Thursday is a big part of the business as well.
Hey guys, this is Andrea. She is here at the BD Riley's in Mueller. So hey, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, of course.
So what do you do here at this BD Riley's?
So I'm a manager here. I kind of started off originally brought over to create a host system. I worked with the director of operations and the general manager back in college, and I ran the host system at the restaurant that we worked at during college. So they
And where
asked,
was that?
So this was in Lubbock. I am a Red Raider, Texas Tech. Woohoo!
Sooner, it's okay.
No, yeah, and trust me, we got the UT fans. Yeah, I get ridiculed all the time, but no, I had just left one job, and they asked me if I could help out, and I was like, yeah, why not? And yeah, no, so
Goodness. Hello. So how do you like being in the Miller neighborhood?
funny story. I grew up in Austin.
Okay.
Of course, went to Lubbock and was gone for 5 years for college. So this was an airport, as far as I knew. I came over here and I'm like, this is gorgeous. And then started working here and realized that this is like the new hotspot. People within 2 days of working here, someone that I hadn't talked to in years, didn't know I worked here, popped in. Now they were like, oh yeah, no, this is like the new area. So it's, I'm proud to say that I work in this area, and I think we couldn't have picked, we could not have picked a perfect spot.
Wonderful. We're so happy to have you guys here.
Yeah, we're happy to be here. And
Good.
now I know, I think, just about half of this neighborhood, which is saying a lot. And always seeing familiar faces. That's another cool part is we're an establishment, but we feel like we're like local Cheers,
So tell me more about your patio.
So we've got, I think so far, the biggest patio in this area. I've kind of looked around at some of the competition. I think ours outdoes them all, but we're dog friendly. We have dog bowls. We actually have treats that we keep here.
Your dogs.
Yeah, we have TVs outside. I think that's also an added plus. We can turn the sound. Yes, for all the sports fanatics. We can turn the sound on outside. We can control it separately from inside. So we can have one game inside and a whole nother game going on the outside, which definitely helps, with our competing rivalries and whatnot. Especially, Cowboys fans, gotta love them. But we are a Patriots bar. We welcome all fans of all types, but
Everyone's welcome.
yes, everyone is welcome. But it does help having that control between inside, outside, and a lot of people don't know this because more recently we just started doing it. But the little area behind me is actually doors, so it can turn kind of the inside. Right over here can turn the inside into kind of an outside area, so that way it's just all kind of free flowing traffic.
So fun.
Easy access to the bar too. Always look forward to that. But we do have servers outside too, so you can sit down, get full service as well.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to when it's a little bit cooler.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So say you do need to come via vehicle to this establishment, where might you park?
So we actually are validating all parking that is across the street. It says it's for Alamo, but most of the establishments around here will validate. We validate for 4 hours. I think we're kind of one of the longer ones. And then free parking on Sundays on the street.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well,
definitely.
you can get a ride share home, you guys.
Yes.
So don't drink and drive.
And we also have a lot of, an abundance of the ride scooters. Again, don't scooter and drink, but it is an easy way to get home if you live nearby,
Yeah.
as we are currently watching.
We're watching some people scooter. Does not look safe. Oh my. So Steve, thank you so much for spending time with me.
Happy to do it. I enjoyed chatting with you.
Yes.
And I always love talking about the pub.
Oh, it's such a great place, and we are so happy to have you.
Well, thanks for embracing us. The neighborhood has made us feel right at home.
Good.
And I wish I had 6,700 gallons of Guinness to share, but there's always some on tap in the back.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Steve, thank you so much for spending time with me.
It's wonderful. I
Let me
always
start
enjoy.
over.
God, take two. I want to see your blooper reels because I bet they're great.
They're not this good because I normally